Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning.
So we haven't talked since, let me see, how long ago has it been? Well, it's been since May 4th.
Over a month.
Wow, that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And briefly you told me that a lot's been going on. And your world's upside down.
Yeah.
So what can we focus on today that will help you in our 30 minutes to 45 minutes? Or if you want to just talk about everything and then figure out maybe in the bulk of it what you want to focus on. It's your call.
I'll do that. Maybe I can whittle down to something.
Okay.
Something will surface. What has been going on for the last month?
Almost 6 weeks, actually.
Well, I got off track with my logging of stuff because life just kind of got in the way. At home we started doing we took on projects so that we could get our house on the market. So life just kind of went a little chaotic. Like I had things good here at work, so I felt like I could take leave to do those things. Got home, had a mess, disaster, got it cleaned up, in the sense of, we were painting the outside of the house. We have 3 little ones. I mean, the whole house imploded upon itself, and then everything was done within about a week's time. It was over the holiday weekend, so I've got about 5 days to make a mess, clean it up, and be ready for work. And as soon as it felt like I got things back in order in my house, by that Monday, everything imploded here. I was gone, and I left it in good shape, but at least I felt that I was in good shape, and I guess because I kind of live in my own little world and I'm doing my own task, and I'm the only one who knows what I'm doing most of the time. Daisy has an idea, but doesn't know the little minutiae pieces and how they're forming together and stuff. When I got back, it was a mess. It was a mess, and I had to clean it up, and I had to fix it, and it didn't have to be a mess. So it took a week to fix everything, get it back in line to where I had been before I left, which led on a lot of guilt of actually not being here, and then it made me start thinking about, why should I feel guilty about not being here? And then it also made me start thinking about chaos and how it's a Ron Crawford statement, but how you not let everybody else's chaos influence you and everything. And so I had those thoughts going through my head for the last couple of weeks, but trying to get a hold of everything, it was hard. It was hard. It was hard to keep afloat with what I had to do, that I had deadlines for, that wasn't a part of the big project, but little stuff that still counts, compared to getting back on track with my big project to make sure that it didn't suffer too. But this week has been a really good week. I have worked my tail end off, and I've gotten a lot more organized. I've had 4 lists going all week, and I'm down to 1 page now, so I'm extremely excited right now.
For work or home?
For work. I hadn't even touched home.
Okay.
I think I even told my husband, you're going to have to handle whatever the heck's going on here because I got to focus on this. So he's been great with helping with the home stuff and making sure, things are still going well. Bills are getting paid on time. Kids are fed, bathed, they're okay, they're safe, making VBS runs, doing laundry, all that good jazz. Trying to find more work for him, because that's also been another thing that's come up, is he's finished his renovation job, thank the Lord. We got rid of the 50-something Dodge, and I couldn't be even more excited about that, but that also meant we had no work.
Right.
So he's had to start hunting for work, and he got 7 jobs last night, so I'm extremely excited. He went out to, he's a kid, but he's not a kid. He's in his 20s, but he's a kid to me.
Right.
They have a farm, and they had 7 trucks down, and they need Donald to fix all of them. So he had gone out there to look at one truck to help with exchanging out a gas tank and got 7 jobs. So
That's awesome.
yeah, that's been a really big weight off our shoulders right there. So it's just been chaos. It just feels like I've been living in chaos, depending on if it's the house and getting the house on the market and then getting it sold, which I'm very thankful that it happened the way that it did, because I can't imagine having little kids trying to get ready for an open house or for a showing and scrambling to get all of them together, then also clean up the house and get them all out for somebody to come in and look at it. So we were really lucky that we had to do it once, and that was it. And that's been a major blessing, I guess.
So you mentioned chaos several times. What would be the most helpful thing for you to take away from our session when you described all of those things that have been going on for the last 6 weeks?
The only thing that I guess I want to focus on is being wrapped up in the chaos is there's a choice there. You have to make the choice to be wrapped up in it. Or you can make the choice to look at it as a season and how do you diffuse it. So that to me is what I'm trying to, I guess, by talking about it out loud, because I haven't talked about it. I've maybe mentioned once or twice that I feel insane or things are going crazy at work, but I haven't said everything that's happened. I haven't said how many things are, bleeding in my world that I have to put a Band-Aid on just to get them to a point where I can then look at it and see what's wrong with it. So I guess to me, it's just figuring out, okay, this is my chaos. Not getting emotional about it, not getting upset about it, and how to diffuse it to where it's manageable. Because in multifamily, we always have stuff. We're busy.
Right.
We're always going to have things moving, and it is a love-hate thing right there because of it. Because we're never slow, we never not have anything to do, but we never have a break either, which is okay.
So you just stated that you want to figure out how, during the chaos, not to get emotional. Forgot the second thing, and then how to diffuse it.
I do. It's kind of like you have hard things that happen, or you have like I say, like a chaotic situation that you're like, okay, this is what I'm dealing with. So you don't get emotional about it. You look at it objectively, and then it's like you don't let it engross you. Just because your situation is chaotic doesn't mean you have to feel internally chaotic or anything like that. I always think of my dad. My dad never seems to like melt under pressure. It could be the worst situation in the world, and he is the most level-headed dude in the whole world. And if I could just have half of that, I'd be a million times better. My anxiety levels wouldn't be through the roof and all of that. So I think that's what I'm trying to achieve is, okay, how do you keep the level-headedness so that you can deal with chaos and then diffuse it or fix it or be able just to function like a normal person and not be upset and not feel anxious and overwhelmed and everything.
It sounds like you have a good example in your dad. And how he, doesn't cave under pressure. Have you had a conversation with him before? And if so, did he give you any pointers?
He has. This is where I'm so much like him, but so not like him. Because it's just, his answer is when you have things like this happen, it's just a moment. It's just right now. Tomorrow you'll wake up and it'll be a different moment. Because you do your best and that's all you can do, and you have to be okay with that. He's 62 years old, so he's got 30 years of life on me. So I'm sure the big picture of what I'm thinking is a chaotic, crazy moment, and him going, yeah, those are small potatoes compared to everything else that happens within a lifespan. And anytime it has to do with work, it's never, he had a great work ethic and he worked hard in his job, but it was a means to an end to take care of us. It was never the most important thing. And I find that I have that problem sometimes as I get wrapped up with what I do here. And I think primarily because I don't want to be identified as the HUD person, but this is the only thing that's mine away from everything else. I take a lot of pride and I love what I do so much that it's that important to me. And it's not that it wasn't important to him. He just had different priorities. But I do have a priority of this is a part of who I am. A small chunk, but it's a part of who I am. And I always want to do a good job.
How do you see being a HUD person defining you?
It's scary because I don't, on a different scale, I have my mom who, she doesn't have, that sounds horrible, she doesn't seem like she has an identity other than being, a mom and a HUD person, and that's it. And I guess that's why I keep trying to focus on little chunks of who makes the whole person as Rachel, third person talking. That sounds crazy.
No, it's actually good to classify that.
Because I see Rachel as, I'm a mom and I'm a wife and I work at HUD and I love my job. But there's also more to me than just that. And I don't want to get to the end of my career and just have my career at the end. But at the same time, I do want to do a good job and I want to be proud of the work that we do because it's important. So
I'm thinking about the chaos and the reactive nature of multifamily, and then your dad's wisdom, the chaos of today is going to be different tomorrow. I'm paraphrasing. What could you do differently that would put each chaotic situation that comes across your plate in a different mindset for you? Not sure where I'm going with this question, but listening to your dad's wisdom.
The only thing I can think about is him saying like you have a platter in front of you and you just take small pieces at a time, and then that you don't try to clear off the whole platter at one time. I also think about him he's like my little Jiminy Cricket that lives in my head, and it sounds really weird, but he is, and all I can hear him is whenever things get like that and I get anxious going, okay, just keep your mouth shut, because you've known me for a very long time and probably know me too well in the sense of I can vent with the best of them. And as I've gotten older, I feel like I've gotten better about not venting. I'm not great about it, but it's like I feel like I have to vent and be heard so that everybody knows what's going on, so they know why I'm psychotic or crazy about something that's going on in my work life. But here recently in my head, I'll even start to say something and then it's almost like I want to be quiet. I just want to be still because it's not going to do anything. It's not going to be beneficial and it doesn't change the situation. So in my head, all I can hear is him saying, be quiet, be still, and only one piece at a time.
How does that make you feel when you hear him in your head telling you to do that?
There's a calming to it, but then there's also the inside of me screaming, okay, so what do you do next? How do you fix it? Because immediately I want to fix it, which sometimes you can't fix things immediately. So here these last couple of weeks, it was too chaotic to be able to write out a list of items. It was too chaotic to be able to address everything at one time. But it was like, okay, here is my major problem. Get to where this is stable. So I got it stable into where I couldn't do anything else with it. So then I got another situation stable. And then I was able to finally, after 2 weeks of just trying to get 2 items stable, because I had 2 major ones going crazy, I could then actually look at, okay, these two things are stable. I can't touch them until today, the 15th. What can I do within that time to try to make things better? And so I did. I started writing a list of, do this 9250, call this person to get a payoff amount, write this letter. And it was literally step by step, okay, do these things so that whenever the 15th comes and you have these two items that collide, you can deal with just those.
So it sounds like you figured out an option for you to take one step forward in getting a solution to the chaos by making lists and being able to check off. Does that sound right? Some of that?
It does. Other people haven't been okay with it. Again, they've been very reactive to what's going on. Upper management, which it's no fault to them. They just don't understand. They don't, and I know that. But I even had to have a conversation with my supervisors, say, hey, I need you to shield me from this because I know what I'm doing. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. They don't know all the pieces, and if you want me to fix it, I don't have time to explain it. I just need you to take care of me and make sure that I can do my job.
Did that happen?
It happened.
Okay.
I was really surprised.
How did that make you feel that you had somebody that had your back?
It was good. It was really good. Because it was during the hardest time of it, because the pressure was coming from the directors and there's emails flying, and again, the inside of me was wanting to just be like, okay, everybody just step away and just let me do my thing. But I had to figure out a way to say that without being disrespectful. I had to figure out a way to say that to my supervisor so that they knew why I needed it and how I needed it. And I had to give her a time frame. I had to tell her, give me 5 days. Give me 5 days to figure out what's going on here, to fix what's happened, to figure out where the standing is of it, and let me have a result to show you, which I was able to before the 5-day mark. But it was just a number I thought in my head. I thought a day needed to be set. So, and it was good. It was receptive. And I don't have a strong confidence in what I do sometimes, but at that moment it was kind of like I had to have that confidence to tell people, I know what I'm doing. I need you to trust me. Anything, you have to trust me right now. So, and luckily they took it well, not like I was being a little brat. So.
Tell me how that felt to you on a scale of 1 to 10. I mean, from where you were coming from when things were blowing up and you had to ask your supervisor to have your back so that you could do what you knew to be true for the process of this particular item.
It was a mix because at first it was like, I mean, I was pretty low on it because I was like, okay, well, this is just a disaster. And then I asked for that, and I got it. And it was kind of like a high, because it was like, okay, I would say I felt probably like at an 8 or a 9, because it was like, okay, they listened to me, okay. And then immediately it was like, kind of like dropped to a 3, because it was like, okay, crap, now I got to figure out how to do this the way that I know how to do it. And then it was a building process at that point. It was like, it felt like triage. You had something dying and things were going crazy, and how do you stop bleeding when you don't know how to stop bleeding? But it was good. It was a roller coaster, but it was good. And I can tell you 2 weeks from now, I feel that as long as I'm in that situation where I know how to fix something again, I probably won't be nearly as nervous. Because I was honestly scared to death that they were going to tell me that, who are you to tell me to back off, which, like I said it a lot nicer than that. But that is really what I said was, you have to trust me. If you know what I can do, trust that I can do it. Trust that I can fix this and whatever's going on with it, so that we can get back on track.
You mentioned earlier about your confidence level with this whole situation that was pretty chaotic, and you've got upper management breathing down your neck, and you had to go to your supervisor to try and put a barrier between you and them so that you could fix it because you knew, not even fix it, but continue your processing to get it to the end game. Do you see a parallel in boosting your confidence with the chaos of the situation or property and you having to put the brakes on and just say, please back off in a respectful way?
I do.
Because you mentioned earlier in the conversation a lower confidence, or you needed to build your confidence.
Well, with this job, this job is scary because when you've been doing it for almost 8-9 years now, you don't know what you know. So why about this point you feel dangerous enough that you could get your butt in trouble, or you could be the right on. So confidence is something I struggle with this job just as a normal thing, because I don't want to open my mouth and be wrong, but there's a lot of the times that I don't open my mouth and I know I'm right. So through this year I've had to show that. I've had to changing supervisors and basically having to be the authority on some things. It's been scary, but I feel that through this year and through especially what happened in the last 2 weeks, that as long as I do it within a proper manner, then I can have that confidence level to answer questions or give this kind of situation the ability to say, okay, I need to do this. I need to focus on how to figure it out and to get it on track, and I need you to let me do it. I don't know if I'm answering you the way that you're asking me.
Well, I just see that there's a parallel to this of chaos and confidence. So I don't even know if there's a right answer or wrong answer. There's just a conversation here that I'm trying to get you to a point where do you see what I'm seeing?
I feel like because of the chaos, I grew in my confidence. I had an opportunity to, I don't want to say stand up for myself, but to stand up and say I am the authority on this. I am the person that knows how to do this.
That's what I want you to realize.
And that I did. I felt like that the chaos brought out the confidence, because then the confidence had to overtake the anxiety for me to be able to roll with it and to get it to where it's at today.
Okay, good. Because that's what I was feeling when you were discussing this, that, it might have been a bad situation right in the midst of, the weeds. You can see the forest for the trees, but you mentioned something about how your confidence and everything, that you knew you'd done this right, and they just need to back off and let you finish it.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's where I wanted to get you to. So.
No, I did. And I guess that's the thing about our chaos that we deal with in multifamily. We always get through it, and every time I get through it, I look back at it and think, well, that wasn't that bad. It was bad, but it wasn't that bad. And then it's always like, okay, what did you learn? And so I've had those moments a lot, but with this particular one, I did learn to have a voice and to kick the cooks out of the kitchen if there's too many, in a nice way, which is a really weird professional thing to do, but it was kind of cool. And then we're almost to the end of it. We're almost to the part where I won't have anything else to do with this, and it will go to the PD center, and I will just sit here and watch for the rest of the month, which will be great. But it was a big learning experience. I feel like within the last 3 weeks, there's been a lot of growth, a lot of painful growth, but some growth.
So that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So this one chaotic situation, we've identified you've got Jiminy Cricket in your head, which is your dad, And the chaos caused you to stand up for yourself and your process that you knew to be true, regardless of the pay grade above you. And it built your confidence.
Yep.
Did I miss anything?
No, I think that's pretty spot on. So, I mean, I think I handled, like I said, I think on this situation, I think I vented to 2 people, and it wasn't my normal venting. Again, as soon as I started those conversations, I had that in my head that said, dude, just be quiet. There's no point of talking about it. It doesn't change it talking about it, and it doesn't fix it. So what are you going to do to be proactive to fix it, to change it for the next day? And that's all I kept thinking was that.
So when you step back from the situation, Jiminy Cricket's talking to you and telling you, maybe giving you words of wisdom, and so maybe going forward in each chaotic situation, do you think you want Jiminy Cricket to still be in your head?
I hope so.
Not everybody has a Jiminy Cricket.
No, I don't.
So maybe you should feel blessed, as you had stated earlier.
I do. Like I said, if I could have half of his calmness, then I'd be a million times better. Because I remember growing up thinking, man, you don't get excited about anything, and why don't you feel something? But it's not that I don't think he ever felt anything. I just think he handled it differently and how it was going to be productive for anybody in the situation. And I think that I've been trying to use that with my kids here recently because they've been very reactive instead of like taking in the moment, looking at it again, and not reacting to them. Because reacting never ends up good. I mean,
you're beginning to apply it in your personal life.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
So, because it's turned out that I don't want to say reacting is negative, but the majority of the time reacting has never been a positive thing for me. Either I raise my voice or I say something I shouldn't have said and I regret it. So there's been a lot of, in my head, just be quiet, just be quiet. So, and he's always told me that just comes with age and time and maturity, and I don't know, maybe I'm hitting that golden number that makes that kind of kick in.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, because even with like the kids, like Chloe did something yesterday, or she lied to us about something. It was so stupid. She lied because she wanted to play on her tablet, and you could tell it was a lie. Like you could tell the wheels were turning as she was talking, and I'm looking at her going, "Why are you lying to me?" And I didn't yell and I didn't scream, and she didn't get a spanking. And it was just, okay, are you telling me the truth or are you telling me a lie? And then finally she goes, oh, I lied. And I'm like, okay, well then you don't get your tablet for the rest of the day. Because normally they get their tablets whenever we cook dinner or something. And she was upset because Lincoln had his tablet while she was at VBS and she didn't get to play on hers. But he can't go to VBS because he's too little.
Right. So
she lost her tablet, and I didn't yell and I didn't scream. And then whenever he got to play on his tablet during dinner time, because he didn't get his taken away. And there's been times where he's had his taken away and she's gotten hers, but it didn't matter to her. And, oh my Lord, you would have thought that she was crushed. I mean, she cried, she
wait till she's 15.
went to her room. I mean, it was a preview for the teenage years minus the screaming and the slamming of the door. And she stayed in there for half an hour crying.
Wow.
So, but we didn't give in to it, and we, like I told Alice, I thought I handled it pretty well because I didn't lose my cool with her or say anything crazy or anything. And then she marched around the house saying how sad she was. But, those are things, kind of those parenting moments where you kind of chuckle and then you kind of move on because it was the biggest bit.
Wow.
So, but like I said, it just, in my head, I kept thinking, okay, don't lose your cool with her. There's no point of it. It's not going to do anything but feed into it.
So thinking about all of this, what's going to be your next powerful step? knowing about the chaos in your Jiminy Cricket, and because as you mentioned, that multifamily is always, I call it the hungry hippo game, because you pop one down and another one pops up. You know, what could be your next powerful step moving forward now that you know you have a solid tool that's helping you?
The only thing I thought about is to try and like bring it to like the forefront, like, I don't know, I like to write things down. And so what I was thinking about doing was like making a card or half a sheet of paper and just kind of looking at it as in a conflict situation and basically writing out steps on what to do. Kind of like I said, like how my Jiminy Cricket pops up in my head, but sometimes he pops up a little slow. Like, you know, you're having a conflict situation, and what do you know, don't embrace the conflict. Look at the conflict from the outside. You know, how, you know, keep your mouth shut. Don't complain. And just kind of like, I say it's like a step-by-step thing, but literally just like a list of, okay, this is what, how, you know, what not to do, what to do until you get to the point where you can address it. And then go from there. And just have it kind of like a reminder that whenever things go crazy and, you know, you get something plopped on your desk or your kid tells you a lie, then you think of that stuff before you go, you know, run your mouth or say something later on that you'll regret, or, you know, get wrapped up in it and get emotional and not see it for what it is, and know that it is just for the moment, and the next day it would change.
When could you do that? Is there a quiet moment that you can take?
Probably the best time to do that would be after putting Matt to sleep. Be able to sit down at the kitchen table and just kind of write it out on an index card of how to do that, because the house would be quiet, the kids are in bed, Donald's at work, it's just me. And
you think you could do that in the next few days?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the same skill sets are going to apply both at work and home. You know, in the coaching session, what I've been taught is, as we're coaching somebody, you really need to take time for a pause. You know, as they're thinking through, the client's thinking through, their response or their situation. And with the coach, when we're thinking about, well, you know, what powerful question are we going to ask you to help you keep the wheels turning, pausing is okay. Taking a moment, breathing, pausing, relaxing, and really thinking through. So I think that's a good thing, that you're going to take note of that on index cards and have some really solid tools to help you. So,
because even anything that would just, I don't know, anything that would just, like, in the moment make you stop. I agree. Pauses would be awesome. I miss pauses. I don't have a lot of them.
Well, how can I help you as a coach? What do you need from me? Think of anything.
The only thing I can think is the only word that keeps popping in my head is accountability, but that's kind of a me thing. I have to be accountable for it.
Well, there is, I don't remember exactly, but there is, it does talk about an accountability coach. So maybe if we continue our sessions as you progress, or every week we can talk about, you know, whatever your goal is, obviously.
Because that's the only thing I keep thinking is just like, I have to have tools that make me feel accountable. I have to feel like I can see see progress, that it's something because what we do at work or what we do at, what I do at home with, like I said, I write everything down. I'm a very big visual person. I've got to see something. I've got to be able to thumb through it and say, it's like my, fitness tracker. Last 2 weeks really sucked. I worked my butt off at the house, but I didn't log my food. I didn't eat good. It was really bad, but my weight didn't change, but now I feel yucky and sluggish and all this. So I can tell, okay, you kind of got a little screwy with your diet, man. Get it back together.
Right.
So I have to be able to have those tools so I can see it, because that's the only way I can be accountable for what I'm doing, and if it gets off track, on how to fix it.
Okay, so you've identified that. So when Mads is asleep, maybe tonight or tomorrow night, you can write down the Jiminy Cricket things on how to pause and remember when to say something or not to say something that you can use both personally and professionally. And then continue with your to-do list that you said you're down to a half a page, I think?
Yeah.
From a page and a half. So I think you've got the tools in place, and then I can, as situations come up each week, we can discuss them. We get you back on track or get you to a new idea that you may have that's going to help you.
That sounds good.
Great. Perfect. Is there anything else before we end our time today?
I don't think so.
All right. Stay tuned.
Yep.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you.